Wanna play?
Wanna play? Wanna play? Wanna play? Wanna play?
Wanna play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James McKenna, and yes, today I'm sitting down because I've recorded this video 3 times, and for whatever reason, this video is cursed. First time I recorded it was like a year ago, and I don't really know what was about it. I can't really remember. It was pretty long ago, but there was just something about the video that I found off, so I just didn't bother uploading it. And then I just actually went to record this video a few minutes ago, but for some reason, my tripod just doesn't want to work and is like tilted to the side, and I literally can't figure out a way to have it stand up straight. So, you know, the whole video is like slanted. And I don't really want to upload something like that, so I just decided, screw it, it's pretty late, I'm just going to sit down and record it because who cares. So today, I want to give a shout out to Ryan Perez, also known as Primetime Horror here on YouTube, because he suggested that I rank every single Cenobite in the entire Hellraiser franchise. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So in last place is going to be the Pseudo-Pinhead from Hellraiser Revelations, simply because... What are you? Like, what? I mean, come on. Like, look at that. No explanation needed. Pseudo-Pinhead. No. And then next up, we've got Bound. 2? Yeah, there's 2 Bounds. Bound 1 and Bound 2. I don't know why there's not just one Bound, and they're both background characters from, like, the later movies. And I just don't know why this guy exists. He's in the background of one scene from what I could find in, like, Hellseeker or something, so no, he's gonna be second to last. He's pretty dumb. Speaking of Bound, at number 18 we've got the original Bound, simply because Bound 2 and Pseudo-Pinhead exist. If those 2 jackasses weren't on this list, Bound easily would have been in last place, because again, he's pretty much like an extra. Like, you know how movies have extras? Hellraisers kind of have extras, but like extra Cenobites, and Bound is one of them. He's not the most, you know, creative design. It's a dude with straps, you know, wrapped around his face. We got 2 straps, and that's about it. There's really no creativity to it, and he's only there in... I believe he's in Hellseeker, and Bound 2 is in Hellworld, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. Maybe one of them's in Dead or somewhere. I don't know. Bound is going to be number 18 for me. Coming in at number 17 is going to be Little Sister. Now, pretty much because she's kind of running around with Bound and Bound 2, running around Hellworld, Hellseeker, Dead, or whichever one she's in, it doesn't matter. The studio doesn't care about the movies, then I don't really care about them either. So yeah, Little Sister is going to be number 17, pretty much because she's slightly more creative than Bound. Bound is like such an obvious name, and Little Sister is nothing great, spectacular, but at least it's not Bound. And also, she's got kind of a unique design. She's got like a weird face going on with some stripes going down. Overall, again, if Bound and Bound 2 and the Revelations one didn't exist, this would easily be last place, but because they do, she's pretty much by default at number 17. At number 16, continuing the trend of the randos running around Hellseeker, Hellworld, and Deader, we've got Stitch. Now, the reason why Stitch is ranked higher than the other ones is because she's got the most unique design so far. She's another background Cenobite, as I said, but she's got this cool looking zigzag stitched up face going on, and honestly, I wish that we saw more of her, which is more that can be said of the last ones, like Bound 2, Pseudo-Pinhead. If they never return, I won't care in the slightest. But Stitch, if Stitch came back, I'd be like, cool. She's got a good design, she's pretty unique, and yeah, I guess just because I slightly wish that there was a little bit more of her, that's still better than all of the ones ranked below them, so my number 16 pick is going to be Stitch. At number 15, might be a little bit of a controversial pick, so just bear with me here, but I think that honestly, number 15 is going to be Dr. Channard, or Channard, or whatever, from Hellraiser 2. Now, Hellraiser 2 obviously is amazing. It might be my favorite in the series. It's a toss-up between the first and the second, but I just think that Dr. Channard, or Dr. Channard, or however you want to say it, just, like, he's cool, but he's a little bit too over the top. Like, there's no other Cenobite with a giant claw carrying them around the place. And also, I just don't really like how they treat all the other Cenobites at the end of the movie with him, because, you know, Pinhead, Chatterer, Butterball, and the female, you know, they're running around hell with Dr. Channard, and the ending of the movie pretty much sees Dr. Channard turning them all back into human and just boom, 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 just wasting them all with ease as if they weren't some of the coolest horror villains of all time. So he's alright. He's definitely more, you know, of the star of the show than the last ones that I've ranked. So that's cool. You know, he is definitely a main event level Cenobite, but I don't know. I just thought that it was kind of dumb what they had him do to the Cenobites at the end, because, I mean, like, Pinhead, like, those guys are your main attractions. So when you kill them off like that, it's just, I don't know. I just think it's a little dumb. So, for me, number 15, Dr. Channard, Dr. Channard. He's cool, but he's not the best. Coming in at number 14 are going to be the Wire Twins. Now, the reason why the Wire Twins are ranked higher than the guys that I've previously ranked, despite the fact that they don't do a whole bunch, is because they're from Inferno. And I think that Inferno is definitely a better movie than Hellraiser Hellworld, Hellraiser Hellseeker, Hellraiser Hurst Helmsley, Hellraiser Hound Dog, Hellraiser Helvington, Hellraiser Here Lies Squidward's Hopes and Dreams, whatever else they come up with. Hellraiser Inferno, I think, is fine. So, despite the fact that they do about as much as Bound and Little Sister and Stitch and Bound 2, the fact that they're in a relatively decent movie directed by a pretty good director, that pretty much, again, by default, puts them up a higher placement. But don't think that they're anything amazing. They're not groundbreaking like some of the ones that we're about to talk about higher up on this list. They just happen to be in a decent Hellraiser movie. So for me, at number 14 are going to be the Wire Twins. Now, number 13 is going to be the Surgeon. Now, despite the fact that the Surgeon is another one running around the background of Hellraiser Hawaii, Hellraiser Hillary, Hellraiser Hose in this house, Hellraiser Give Me a Man's Name That Starts with an H, Jose, is because he's got a pretty good design. I mean, like, look at the guy. He's pretty cool. He's definitely better than Bound, you know, the guy that has a strap over his face. The dude's got, like, you know, his eyes covered. He's got a pretty good look. I mean, he looks like if they elevated him to main event status, if they gave him a movie where maybe he's not, like, you know, Pinhead, but he's one of Pinhead's main followers, maybe, like, some, you know, like a level of somebody on, like, Hellraiser 3, to where he's only in a couple movies, or he's only in a couple scenes, but they do give him lines to make him stand out. I think that he would fit in pretty good. Only problem is that they don't do any of that, and they just have this pretty cool looking dude standing in the background of one of the later Hellraiser movies. So, at the end of the day, he's definitely one of the cooler looking Cenobites, but just because he's another guy that just doesn't do anything, he's going to be at number 13. At number 12, finally, we've got somebody that's not just some random background character. Number 12 is going to be one of the dudes from Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, and that is Pistonhead. Now, for me, the only reason why Pistonhead is this low is because I think that he's probably the least memorable of the Hellraiser 3 Cenobites, and despite the fact that the guy's name is Pistonhead, and he's got, you know, a piston, I guess that's what it's called. If his name is Pistonhead, then the thing in his head is a piston. I don't care if that's not the real name. So, yeah, we'll call it a piston. Literally is like pushing out of his head, and it's crazy, and he's got one of the better, I think, one-liners, because all the guys in Hellraiser 3 do have one-liners, and I think he's got one of the more memorable ones.
Relax, baby. This is better than sex. Huh?
But at the end of the day, I just don't think that he's the most memorable design. I mean, he's definitely ridiculous, he's definitely over the top, but I just don't think that he's as memorable as the other crazy Cenobites in Hellraiser 3. So for me, he's going to be at number 12. Coming in at number 11 is going to be Camerahead. Ready for your close-up, bitches? That's right, it's another guy from Hellraiser 3, and I think the only reason he's ranked any higher than Pistonhead is because I actually know what's in his head. Now, could the reason I don't exactly know what's in Pistonhead's head be my own fault? Yes, but whatever, it's my ranking. Number 12 is going to be Camerahead because it's a dude with a camera in his head. I mean, why not? The guy just running around, got a camera in his head. Pretty funny, pretty entertaining, pretty over the top, and I like it. Hellraiser 3 is pretty good, so Camerahead. And he's another guy that actually has lines. He's not just chilling in the background. So I think, yeah, he's pretty goofy, but he's pretty funny. So I'm just going to give Camerahead the number 11 spot. So coming in at number 10 are going to be the Conjoined twins from Hellraiser Bloodline. Now, I think what makes these guys stand out is that we actually get to see how they transform into the Cenobites. Now, that's nothing new. We've seen this in the past, but I think that it's pretty cool. We get to see it live, you know, right on screen as it's happening in the present. Well, I guess technically it's in the future because it's in space. But in the present, in the continuity of, you know what I'm talking about, it's these cops that somehow find themselves on Pinhead's death ship running around space, and Pinhead goes like, guess what? And they literally morph like into each other, and we get to see their faces like curling in, and it's pretty nasty. It's no, you know, it's not like, you know, on Pinhead we get to see Pinhead and like literally we see the pins coming out of his head, but it's still definitely way cooler than the ones that we've already talked about in this list. So I think that they're cool enough to be this high, but not, I guess, original enough, or not as unique enough to be placed any higher than directly in the center of the list. So for me, at number 10 are going to be the Conjoined twins from Hellraiser 4. Coming in at number 9 is going to be the CD face from Hellraiser 3, because he's a guy that runs around with CDs in his face and kills you by hucking CDs at you. Why the hell not? He's pretty cool, he's pretty goofy, he's pretty unique. I mean, you never see any other horror movie or horror franchise with a dude who kills people by chucking CDs at them, so it's definitely something. He's a guy that's at the forefront of the movie. He's not just a random background character, so I think that definitely helps with the spot too, despite the goofiness of, you know, the guy with CDs in his face being an official canon Hellraiser Cenobite. But, you know, I think he's fun. He's fun. He's a guy who kills you with CDs. So for me, number 9 is going to have to be the CD face. Coming in at number 8 is going to be the Dreamer from Hellraiser 3. Now, I think the reason why Dreamer is placed this high is because I'm not exactly basing this list off of the looks of the Cenobites. It's simply part of the criteria, but I think that despite the fact that, yeah, this character is just a female Cenobite ripoff, but with a cigarette in her throat for some reason. She still places at number 8 because we actually get to see this character develop. This movie starts with this Cenobite. Her human name was Terry, and we watch the movie's final girl. I believe her name is Jody, if I'm not mistaken. We watch Jody take her in pretty much off the street and take her into her house because she's a good person at heart, and so Jody's like, alright, yeah, you can stay at my house for as long as you want, make yourself at home. So we get to see the development of this character before she becomes a Cenobite in the 3rd act, and I think that makes the character more unique. We haven't seen really any other Cenobite character development in the previous ones, so I think that pretty much because the fact alone that we actually know who this character is beforehand is enough to put her up high on this list, because not all these Cenobites are treated with exactly the most care in the world, but I think this one is truly the first Cenobite that we've ranked that I can say that, like, they actually put some care into this character, and they actually made you know, think about it, and they gave her a character arc and stuff like that. So I think because of that, she's definitely going to be ranked higher than some of the other jackasses that I've already put on this list. Continuing our streak of the Hellraiser 3 Cenobites, number 7 is going to be Barbie. So this guy is pretty much the bartender at this gigantic party, which is where some of the other Cenobites from part 3 came from. There's just this big ol' rave in Hellraiser 3, this giant party, hundreds and like I'm talking hundreds of people, and of course Pinhead shows up, kills most of them, but turns some of them into Cenobites, and this is one of them, along with some of the ones that I've already ranked like CD Face and Camerahead, etc. This is one of the characters that he turned into the Cenobites, and this guy was the bartender, Barbie the bartender, and he, like, covers his whole face in barbed wire. So, like, you know how Pinhead, he's got all pins in his head? This guy's face is just all full of barbed wire, and for some reason, he can breathe fire! Cool! Why not? He's a pretty sick dude. He just, you know, saunters around. Pretty cool dude. You know, barbed wire on his face. As soon as you step in his way, he just sets you on fire. Guy's pretty sick to me, and he's gonna be on this list. Stuttered there real quick, but he is gonna be on this list. At number 7. Coming in at number 6, and please don't leave comments on this video like, well, actually, if you look at the continuity and you read the comic books and you do all this, like you know, some of my videos, actually, the lore, according to the Hellraiser Bible, chapter 26, section 10, says that this guy's not technically a Cenobite. I know, but he's pretty cool, so I wanted to put him on this list. It's gonna be the Auditor from Hellraiser Judgement. Now, Hellraiser Judgement, it's kind of weird that I put this guy on the list and I don't put all of the other weirdos from Hellraiser Judgement on there, but I wanted to include this guy because I think he's pretty cool. He's, you know, he's pretty much the star of the movie, so it would be kind of weird if I didn't put him in because it would kind of just be ignoring Judgement entirely. I think the guy's a cool guy. He's got all cuts all over his face. He's got this cool pair of, you know, just like circle sunglasses on, and he does the movie's interrogating. If you've never seen the movie, it's gonna be a little bit confusing, but there's pretty much, in this movie, it's like there's people that, instead of going to the labyrinth of hell that happens in, you know, Hellraiser 2, they get sent to this guy called the Auditor, and the Auditor pretty much judges whether these people can go to hell or whether they, you know, they can go to heaven. So, you know, it's kind of like a step in between, you know, in between the hell realm that's like Hellraiser 2. Before you go to that hell realm, you have to face the Auditor, and you have to pretty much, what happens, it's really weird, and I'm sorry for dragging this on so long, but it is really weird. So, you know, you're strapped down to this chair in this weird-ass room, and you gotta tell this big fat dude all of your sins. The big fat dude then writes all the sins on a paper, eats the paper, pukes the paper out, And then there's this whole weirdo section of this, like, naked girls who then drink the puke. There's this one dude that shows up that looks like the miner from My Bloody Valentine. But before all this weirdo nonsense goes down, you gotta meet with the Auditor, and the Auditor basically tells the guy, yeah, you're not going anywhere, so you might as well just tell the truth, because if you don't, you're going to hell. Sorry it took me this long to explain, but this movie's a really weird movie. So yeah, number 6 is going to be the Auditor because he's actually, for the first time in 6 movies, a character. At number 5 is going to be Angelique from Hellraiser Bloodline. She's kind of like the Dreamer from Hellraiser 3, except, you know, leveled up to 3000 because we get to see this character develop through literal centuries. For those who don't know, Hellraiser Bloodline it's a movie that takes place in 3 different timelines. The first act is in the past, like the 1800s, whatever. The middle portion is in the present. Of course, at that point, that was 1996, I believe. So it takes place in 18-something, 17-something, whatever. Then it goes to 1996, then it goes into space, where, of course, you know, that's where the Conjoined twins come in 2127, I believe the year is. But the one recurring character throughout all of these timelines, besides Pinhead himself, is his sidekick, Angelique. We watch Angelique in the 1800s, how she becomes a Cenobite, and then how she transforms over the years. In I guess, the present times of 1996, we get to see her. She's still pretty much a normal person, but by 2127, she's like got the full-on Cenobite look, and she looks awesome. So I think, again, because this character is developed, we watch her progress through literal centuries of time. It's a pretty cool concept for, you know, a character and how to tell the story about this character, you know, telling it between hundreds of thousands of years. If that makes any sense. So for me, at number 5 is Angelique. And now finally we're in the main event territory, and number 4 is going to be Butterball. Butterball, the guy's pretty sick. I mean, look at him. The dude's just like the chillest guy in horror movie history. My man's just hanging around, all 500 pounds of him, just walking around, just chilling, having a great time. The only problem is that he's the only guy in this top 4 that does just kind of hang around and chill. Like, we don't really get to see him kill anybody. There's nothing that really makes him stand out amongst the top 4. So he's definitely one of the top 4 Cenobites, simply because of association with the other 3. But he doesn't, you know, he doesn't talk, he doesn't really have that many special abilities. And he's just a dude that kind of chills, and there's nothing wrong with that when you're chilling in the first and second movie. So for me, Butterball is going to be at number 4. Number 3 is going to be Chatterer. Not any of the other Chatterers besides the one in, of course, 1 and 2. Because the other one's like, when Chatterer pulls up in Revelations, the dude doesn't even chatter. And his name is Chatterer. What? No, Chatterer in 1 and 2, he's awesome. Like, he's just another guy that, you know, he hangs around and he has this cool presence to him. You know, he goes around and he's just chattering away endlessly for the rest of eternity, hanging around with Pinhead, hanging around with the Cenobites. But the only reason why he's not, you know, in the top 2 is kind of like the same reasons as Butterball. He's up here because he is definitely cool, but he is a little bit like Butterball in that he doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. Like, he puts Kirsty in the mandible claw in the first one, but that's really all he does. Like, he doesn't really kill anybody. But again, there's nothing wrong with being a Cenobite that just chills, as long as you're chilling in the first and second movie. So for me, at number 3 is definitely going to be Chatterer. He's one of the most recognizable Cenobites in the franchise, and I think it would be a shame if he wasn't ranked this high. Coming in at number 2 is going to be the female Cenobite from Hellraiser, and of course, Hellbound Hellraiser 2, because she talks, and she does cool lines. Like, she has lines like Pinhead, and she's got a wicked cool design, too. Just this pale, completely white face, and just this neck that's just open, like, just literally, like, held open, the skin. It's a crazy design, and I think she's great. Like, she's really cool. I just wish that we had a name for her. I don't exactly know why they just decided to call her the female. Like, you couldn't have given her a name like Open Neck or something. That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, no, she's great because she's an OG Cenobite. She talks, she helps the plot advance, and she's awesome. Like, you know, she helps Pinhead describe who they are. She helps Pinhead describe what they're gonna do to Kirsty and all of that. So yeah, she helps the plot move along. She can talk. She's a badass, and for me, she's gonna be number 2. But at number 1, without question, the star of the show, the most badass dude on this entire list. And when I say that, I mean, like, you can probably take everybody that I've already talked about, combine them into one, and they'd probably be, like, half as cool as Pinhead is, who, of course, is my number 1 pick. Pinhead, like, he's in a league of his own, to the point where it's, like, it's not even a league. Like, everybody else is, like, a jobber, and he's, like, the main event guy. He's, in my opinion, the greatest horror villain of all time. Or at least the greatest idea for a horror villain, because they really only executed him well in, like, 3 movies, maybe. But man, is Pinhead just a complete badass in those movies that he is used good in. Hellraiser is amazing. He's got so many cool lines. He's got the coolest entrances in horror history. Like, when he first pulls up in Hellraiser, you know, you've got all the weirdness going on, and stuff starts going crazier and crazier in the hotel room before they finally show up. Hellbound Hellraiser 2, he's got the greatest entrance in horror movie history, I think. Like, literally, when the walls open up, the papers are flying everywhere, there's glass shattering, everybody's like, what is going on? And finally, it zooms right up in on him as he just walks out, completely just his shadow engulfed in the light. He looks amazing. Then, of course, Hellraiser 3. He's in the church. He's got his arms spread out. I am the way. The whole thing just bashes. The windows bash in. The candle starts going crazy. It's amazing. Pinhead is so awesome. Doug Bradley does a phenomenal job portraying this character. Everybody else doesn't. Actually, the guy in Judgement is fine, but we're just gonna pretend Revelations didn't happen, because we did include that. I don't even know what to call him. Like, a swear word wouldn't even do justice how bad of a character Revelations Pinhead is. But completely ignoring that, again, saying something, no matter what it is, would still not be enough to describe how horrible of a character he is. So yeah, excluding him, Pinhead, he's the greatest horror villain of all time, in my opinion. So, yeah, Pinhead's gonna easily, without question, be number 1. So thank you for watching my ranking video of all the Cenobites in Hellraiser. I guess I gotta apologize because I'm not as energetic as I usually am in these videos. It's just, I don't know, it was getting on my nerves pretty hard that I've filmed this video twice, and my tripod just doesn't want to work, so I have to sit down. And, you know, sitting down, I'm way closer to the camera, so I don't really want to be screaming and, you know, hey, you know, going crazy. I feel like when I'm sitting down here, these videos are more chill. So I guess, let me know if you want to see more videos of me just chilling in the chair. I don't know. People might want it, people might not. So let me know in the comments whether you would like to see that. Let me know in the comments your ranking of the Hellraiser franchise. And let me know what else you would like to see me rank. So, until next time, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Once again, big shout out to you, Ryan, for recommending me do this video. So thank you all for watching. You can subscribe to this channel if you would like to. And you can also follow me on Instagram at James from One of Life. So, thank you for watching this video for like the 6th time. Goodbye and good night.